Today, we're doing a device review on KX07 from Blatchford. KX07 is Blatchford's mechanical knee that they've had on the market for a long time now. I know before it was KX06 and they updated a few things in KX07, maybe a sleeker frame and some different stuff, but KX07 has been around forever, and it's got some things that are very unique to it, especially for a mechanical knee, but also a mechanical knee that is polycentric. And so we'll get into what polycentric means, but definitely a lot of benefits for using this knee, especially as kind of that mechanical knee. I love this thing as kind of that mechanical like trainer knee that I have as a backup, knee that I use to run on different things like that. KX07 is 2 pounds and 11 ounces and is rated up to 330 pounds. It comes with a 36-month warranty and could be used with codes L5615, L5845, L5850, and L5925. The knee is a polycentric design, so that means that as you swing and the knee is flexing, it is actually getting shorter, giving you more clearance on uneven terrain, especially for those of us that are knee disarticulate, and so we have a little bit longer residual limb. This helps shorten that clearance as you are in that swing through phase, so you're not scuffing your toe and doing things like that because of the polycentric design. It also allows for up to 160 degrees of knee flexion, which is a lot of bend, really making it so that you can get into comfortable positions when you're sitting in the car, working around the house, doing things in tight spaces. This knee really should be able to accommodate you in almost any situation. Let's break down the polycentric 4-bar design of KX07 a little bit more, because it is a standard across the industry and was for a long time for prosthetic design before microprocessors got popular. So here we're at terminal stance, and you can just see I'm about to be initiating that toe off and beginning my swing phase, and I'm fully extended at the knee and like really triggering off the foot now, and so it's about to initiate the toe off and begin some swing here. And so as we get into swing, now is where you can start to see that polycentric design come into play. So the knee doesn't get shorter like I was saying, obviously. It's just the way that it collapses together shortens the length as it swings through. And so right here you can see it's starting to get into a place where as it lifts up, it's collapsing and getting that's where that 160 degrees of flexion comes into play, because you're getting more flexion out of the knee as you swing through. We continue here, and now just getting through that mid swing, and you can see how far my foot really is from touching the ground. And again, this is a hydraulic ankle, so I'm getting some lift out of the toe as well, getting some of the dorsiflexion out of the toe. So I'm getting a ton of clearance here and not really having to worry about walking, on this little bit of uneven terrain and worrying about scuffing the toe or anything like that because of the design. And so as we finish through here down to our heel strike, you can really see that I don't have any stance knee flexion. The knee is fully locked out. So we're landing with that extension and then pulling through at our hip and beginning our next swing. And you can really see again how that polycentric design just gives you some of that extra clearance that you wouldn't get again on a regular hydraulic knee. Another big benefit of KX07 and a lot of mechanical knees is that it is fully waterproof. You can get this thing wet, you can do anything you want on this really, and not have to worry too much about, am I doing damage to my knee? Am I gonna lose charge? Those types of things. There's no charge. I don't have to worry about plugging it in and worry about battery. And if I have an issue, it's just going to be with the hydraulic cylinder, and that's a pretty easy fix on the Blatchford end to get that stuff repaired. So this knee really is durable and robust to offer a lot of uses to feel safe and comfortable when you are kind of going into those uneven terrains, maybe hiking, doing stuff like that, and just kind of peace of mind of like, I don't have to worry about anything when I'm wearing this knee. It also has some unique adaptability with a couple different locks and a free swing mode, so you could use it running and biking and different things like that. And so we will go into how to use those modes. Okay, so first things first with KX07, we notice a couple of those different design components that we were talking about, the polycentric design. But then also you have this pyramid can be taken off by removing the knee cover here, the kneecap, and then this slides out. But this allows for you to adjust where that weight line is going to fall. So you can see here on top it has a couple notches to kind of give you just some direction of where that pyramid could be. If you have the pyramid shifted here to the front of the knee, that's going to make the knee really safe and harder to initiate that toe off swing. If you slide it back here, it's going to be easier to initiate that swing, but a little bit more unstable. So probably want it back here if you're going to use this knee to run on or are really active and strong, things like that. But this pyramid works by just sliding it to where you want and then putting the socket on. When you put the socket on, it tightens the pyramid up and locks everything in. So next for settings, you've got your extension and flexion right here on the front. So first thing you want to do is get this little tool that Blatchford sends. So this little wrench has some groove teeth on the bottom side there to latch here. So we're going to lift up this stirrup. Sorry for bumping the camera. We're going to lift up this stirrup here in the back. So that is lifted up now. You see, now I can make adjustments. That unlocks the cylinder for me. So right now I have it set up with extra flexion for a part that will be later on in the video of walking on uneven terrain. And I want to bring that down, and I also probably want to bring my extension resistance down as well. So to do that, you take your wrench and you got to latch it around the trunnion tube there, and then it slides in. So now you see that wrench is locked on there. And so to move our extension, first we're going to have to move the flexion. So we need to note that the flexion is this top dial here. Get a little closer. You can see I'm somewhere in between 2 and 3. So again, first we're going to change my extension. So we're going to spin this all the way. Okay. So now you can see it. Now that I've engaged the top flexion ring, now you can see where it says flexion. Now my indicator line is moving. So that's how I'm going to be able to move where I want that extension. If I want it to go the other way, which I do, and we are going to spin it back over here. And now we're going to move that flexion. Make sure you get that locked down all the way. Get that. We're going to move the flexion all the way over. It's just lining up those grooves with the teeth that are on the top of the dial. So now we've moved that all the way to 10. Now we should start to be able to move our extension angle. So now you see that white line in the middle is shifting. So I'm going to move it to about 3.5. And then I'm going to bring my flexion back. But I'm going to go a little bit more than I had before. Before I had it at about 2.5. Now I think we'll start with 4. This about there. So now you can see my settings. I've moved. Take this out, push the back little slider back down. Now you can see my flexion is at just under 4 and my extension is at about 3.5. So let's see what that looks like walking. Now making that adjustment, I feel like this is actually pretty comfortable for where I want to be on just ambulating around in my everyday life. I am doing this demo with the Echelon ER, which is extended range. So look for the Echelon video coming out soon. We'll go into those settings a little bit too on a hydraulic ankle. But now I feel pretty comfortable with those settings and feel like it's matching my gait pretty smooth. Again, because this is a mechanical knee, I'm not getting that stance knee flexion. One key to walking on mechanical knees in general is that if you get that stance knee flexion, like I would right here, now the knee is in an unsafe position. It's really difficult for me to keep it locked out with just my hip, and it won't support me here, as you could see. So the way to walk on this is to really, when you get that heel strike, now I'm engaging in my socket a ton and pushing back to keep the knee locked out so it stays safe as I get over and roll over. Okay, so now I feel good walking with those settings where they're at. Let's look at our yielding. So if you flip the knee over, you see you've got this little lever here, which we will get into in a minute, and then you've got another dial. Let's zoom in, see if you can see. You probably can't see, there's some numbers on there and a little dial. So we're just going to take our 2mm wrench here, and we are going to take that from where it was, and I'm just going to put it up almost at the top. I want some high resistance when I'm sitting with this knee. Adjusted that yielding, like again, pretty high. And that feels pretty comfortable. Now, something to note about mechanical knees, polycentric knees, this hydraulic cylinder can only support me so long. So you see, once I get past a certain point of yielding that knee, it kind of just drops at the end there. That's because obviously the pump can't support me past this 90 degrees or whatever the degrees is. I'm not exactly sure, but so that's something to note, is that as you sit down, it's supporting me well, but it is going to be kind of a fast sit down right there at the bottom. Another thing I really do like about the polycentric design is when you're sitting, it's mimicking my natural leg better because of the way the knee shortens as it folds. On a hydraulic knee that is not polycentric, you know, my knee would be sticking out a little bit, my foot would be back some like this to match these angles. But here, sitting nice and comfortable, you can see I have good symmetry, but that has a lot to do with the polycentric design and shortening up that limb length as you are flexing. It has benefits walking, has benefits sitting as well. Again, look for our Echelon ER video coming soon because, you know, being with the knee, the polycentric knee, and then a hydraulic ankle, I can sit like this and really be very symmetrical and feel comfortable, which is not something that I can do on, again, my microprocessor knee and the feet that I wear with that. So also with KX07, we've got a couple ways to adapt this knee to give us locks and free swing. So first thing we're going to do is you've got that little lever that is right next to our yielding adjustment. So first, for an extended lock or a manual lock, you want to make sure that the knee is fully extended. I have no flexion between the knee and my socket. And then I'm just going to lift that lever up. And now I've got a fully extended lock. So the knee is going to support me, can't swing at all, can't really walk anywhere. But again, I'm locked at that manual extension. And then to get out of that again, we just want to flip that lever down. And now to get into our flex lock, we just want to flex the knee a little bit and not override the stance. We don't want to really weight the knee and then flip that lever again. So now the knee is locked at that angle that I was flexed at. It won't go past there. And so I'm safe again. I can stand comfortably if I'm standing in line, things like that. I can go back to extension here. And then when I hit extension, I am still in that manual lock. So to get out, you just want to flip that lever down again. And then our last mode, we have a free swing cycling running mode. So instead of being evenly weighted or unweighted somewhat, now we're going to shift all of our weight onto the toe of the foot and then flip that lever again. And now I am in a free swing mode. So if I was cycling, doing something like that, now I can do that. And then to get out of that mode, just come back and push the lever down. Okay, so now that we've got KX07 set up where I want it with my flexion and extension, now we are going to install the cover. It does have a cover that you can get on. It's not like an easy quick on or off, but here we go. So you've got this cover, you've got these spacers and screws and a little Allen key that the knee comes with. So we're just going to match this cover up with those bolts, and then we're going to put a spacer in and softly thread a screw in there, and same for the bottom. Flip it over, and then the one on the top. Now we will tighten these down. They don't need to be over tight, just get them till they're snug. Go, cover's installed. Just a little bit more walking here before we wrap it up. The KX07 can go downstairs step over step, but honestly I want to save a little bit of that for the Echelon video because I feel like the ankle makes a bigger difference with this particular setup. But I just wanted to show again how walking on uneven terrain, a little bit of a incline in, you know, unstable environment, I really do have a lot of confidence and support on this knee, walking with that full extension so that I know that the knee is going to be locked out and safe, and then the hydraulics kind of adapting to my speed and the swing of the knee, giving me that good confidence that the foot's going to be out underneath me, and knowing that I'm going to have clearance and never really going to get caught up is a huge benefit for this. So that's KX07. I really like this knee as a mechanical knee like I was talking about. I think some of the pros are that you don't have to worry about getting this thing wet or doing damage to it in general. Having the polycentric design really does make for a comfortable, smooth swing through, and I never scuff the ground, especially pairing it with my Echelon ER, getting the polycentric, you know, short swing through as I'm coming through, and then also a toe lift out of the foot really makes a big difference. So again, for those of us that have really long limbs, this is like the perfect knee for that option, especially if you're looking for a mechanical option that you don't want to worry about. Some of the downsides are that it does take a little bit more effort for me to swing it and pull it through and just use in general. And not having that stance knee flexion definitely makes a difference in the comfort on my back at the end of the day. And so missing those couple of things definitely are Not ideal for me personally, but again, if I had this knee, I would be using it as like my hiking knee, my water knee, things like that. And so with the flexion lock and extension lock, the flexion lock really is so nice to have on a mechanical knee to feel safe and comfortable, but still flex and not have to stand at that full extension. So that really a lot of pros to this knee, couple cons, but you know, the weight and everything that comes with it, I really think this is a great overall package. And I really, for experienced users, I think this would be a solid knee to have in the closet again that I use when I go hiking or go to the lake and things like that. And for new users, I think this is a great mechanical option to learn how to use the knee and progress maybe to a microprocessor, or maybe you decide that you like this in general. But I do think for mechanical standard, this is awesome, especially with, again, the polycentric design and everything. There are a lot of benefits that come with this knee. If you would like more information on the KX07, check out Blatchford's website. If you have questions for me, put them in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you. I've loved demoing this knee and would love to give you some of my feedback. Other than that, we'll see you next time.